Hey guys, we may have seen the death of Talk Tuah with Hailey Welch. So she missed the upload. She's been uploading for some time now, and every week there's been a new episode. Jake Paul, whatever you think he is, he's very, very good at making podcasts, as well as Logan Paul. So they've been very consistent in finding a guest, creating the content, editing content, and getting it out each week. Well, this week, there is no content. So this is December 11th on Wednesday. It's been over 7 days. You can see that it's almost every 7 days they post a video. And they've been incredibly consistent. So she has missed her video posting. I'm guessing because whoever the guest is probably doesn't want to be a guest anymore. Imagine, whoever this individual is, probably some OnlyFans model, doesn't want the negative press associated with Hailey right now. Hailey is toxic. She basically did a crypto scam, and crypto scams online, even the crypto community, even Doc Hollywood hates crypto scammers, according to Doc Hollywood himself. So there's nothing that people hate more than a crypto scam because A, it involves crypto, and B, it is a scam. So here's the current like to dislike ratio. There is two more K dislikes, and then she picked up 100 likes. I don't know where these likes are coming from, but the ratio of 100 new likes to 2,000 dislikes is 1 in 20. That's not great for her brand. And that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine you being the next guest. Is this something that you want to do? And it is hilarious. The last podcast before Hailey being canceled talks about being canceled. So it's probably the best way to wrap up the podcast. It is a very ironic and hilarious take. Now, if she had CoffeeZilla on her podcast, which would be a very intelligent move, I think CoffeeZilla is the only guest that she could have on and not get absolutely just obliterated in the comment section and in the likes to dislike ratio. Now, people ask, how do you look at dislikes? You have to be on desktop and you have to download an app. There are multitudes of apps. I'm not sponsored by any of them, so you pick whatever one that makes sense to you. It is interesting because the dislike button still works. It just doesn't show it to you unless you download an extension. I'm on Google Chrome, so I'm using that extension right now. But they would be absolutely obliterated. So any brand, any advertising, I saw her doing advertising for Jake Paul's fight, even gambling advertisers, and they have very low standards indeed because they just want your money. They are going to stay away from her because it's not good for them. It is not good for a gambling website to be associated with a crypto scammer. I don't know what type of business would be good. Even a crypto coin would not be good for her because they don't want to be associated with a scammer. Like, it does not make too much sense to me, like, where her options are, other than having CoffeeZilla as the next guest, having Coffee Roaster, and she had an out. I honestly believe she had an out. The out was, hey, I'm just a country girl. I was making minimum wage 6 months ago. This sounded like a good way to get some money. I am greedy. I'm a 22-year-old. You guys know me. Hawk Tuah, spit on that thing. I'm famous for being drunk and talking about giving BJs while drunk. The art of the BJ while drunk to two strangers with a microphone, because that's a... You got people in the comment section defending this behavior. Even Hailey doesn't defend the behavior because Hailey says these two dudes are creeps. The two dudes who were interviewing, the reason that she got so famous are these two dudes were, and this is their whole channel, right? They interviewed drunk females, and then they asked them sexual questions, and then they received sexual answers, and then they posted on YouTube. It is kind of similar to these arrest things where, there's a channel that only targets like young females, and people watch that. If nobody wants to see like an old man talk about sex positions, right? So why not see like a young drunk woman who's attractive? And she felt, oh, that's really creepy. That was very pervasive. Oh, that was... And she's trying to get the video. She's trying to not take the video down, which is one thing. She's trying to own the video. And I believe she's still attempting to do that right now. But she was like, oh, that's very creepy of them and stuff. But, like, it's your answer. So, I mean, that's why you're famous. I mean, these two guys, without them, no matter how creepy they are, without these two guys recording you, Hawk Tuah, spit on that thing, blowjob. You don't become famous. You are still making minimum wage. So, Hailey, I mean, the collapse is so rewarding to see. And I think it was always going to be crypto coin. Once Jake Paul signed on, we're going to see Jake Paul. Once Jake Paul signed on, it was basically the end. You didn't know the end would come this soon. So this is pretty ironic. Obviously, the last podcast title, that the Talk to a podcast ends up, the last podcast he talks about is being canceled. But it was always going to end this way in some type of crypto scam once Jake Paul signed on. You guys know that, and it would always involve CoffeeZilla once Jake Paul signed on, because Logan Paul is currently suing CoffeeZilla, which we update on this channel when there ever is a doc update. How could it not end this way? Now, as for her talk show, I've listened to it because I wanted to review it. It's very, very lame. It's exactly what you would think a 22-year-old with no wisdom, with no experience outside of blowjobs would talk about. It's not intelligent. It's not philosophical. It's not for me. Maybe if you're 22, you love it. I mean, there is an audience out there that will defend their queen, their crypto queen, as she calls herself now. There is an audience out there that will defend her. They're in the comment section right now. The whole idea of I still think they believe that she's going to give them a BJ. Hey, I buy the Hawk token. Like, what's the appeal in the Hawk token, right? There's got to be some appeal to it. Is it like BJ jokes that are really funny? Like, but she doesn't talk about like that, like on her podcast. So I've listened to the podcast from the granny thing, and once that boyfriend Pookie, and it's all about Pookie and Pookie this, and her audience is like guys. Her audience is, I would imagine, 18 to 34-year-old guys. And then maybe like unmarried, very old guys. Once he talks about Pookie this, Pookie that, you saw a 90% collapse in viewership. And that's why VTubers don't have boyfriends. That's why idols in Japan don't have boyfriends. That's why celebrities don't have boyfriends, right? Because they want to sell you. That's why OnlyFans, even if they have a boyfriend, they won't tell you. That's why Amarath, the biggest female hot tub streamer, right? She's always showing off her assets. I think she has an OnlyFans as well. Amarath, she was married to an Asian dude for forever. And suddenly, she had to get a divorce, and the Asian dude was abusive, and everyone should donate money so she can escape her abusive boyfriend. What? Like, wait, what? Not boyfriend, husband. Sorry, it was a husband. This is even next level. I actually friended the guy. He responded back to me on Facebook. He seems like a pretty cool guy. But then he became abusive, psychopathic. So he made her stream, with bikinis on and stuff, and she didn't want to do that. So there was like about a week where she wore like a sweater, and she was receiving massive donations from her fans. Oh, I can't believe you had an abusive husband. Well, you couldn't believe it because A, you didn't know she had a husband, and B, the dude was not, I think, abusive. Because apparently they're still on good terms now. They live in Houston, by the way. So I know friends of them. They were cosplayers. We owned a cosplay. One of my coworkers, we sent her to cosplay convention, so she's heard all about it. She knows Amarath from my friend. The dude was a nice dude. And then suddenly he was painted as a abusive individual who was making her stream semi-nude. And then you know what happened? As soon as like she realized that streaming with a sweater would not give her donations, sweater came off. Yeah. Hawk Tuah.